Hey there. Hey, this is Bernie Borges, host of the Social Business Engine podcast. Welcome to episode 173. This is a special Brady Bunch episode. Here I am with two of my co-founders, Phil Gerbyshak and Mario Martinez Jr. Hey, Phil and Mario, welcome back to the Social Business Engine podcast.
Awesome being here, Bernie. Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Excited to be here with you.
All right. Well, we are here to talk about podcasting. So as I mentioned during the audio intro, Vengreso has three podcasts. We've got Social Business Engine. We're going to get to that one last. But we've got yours. And what I want to do for the listener is, and for the viewer, to just kind of introduce them to each one. Like, what's the purpose of each one? Why should my listener from Social Business Engine even care? And then also get them thinking about podcasting as a medium in general. So, Mario, let's begin with your podcast. Your podcast is called Selling with Social. So who's it for? What's it about?
Yeah, Bernie, thank you. Yeah, Selling with Social started that beginning of this year, January, as a matter of fact, of 2017. And it was always and continues to be targeted at those that are supporting the sales organization. So that could be sales enablement, it could be marketers, social media strategists, social media managers, as well as for the sales leaders and sales enablement and sales operations folks to help sales people or those that are responsible for client acquisition and client retention to be able to grow top of line revenue and to grow sales and increase customer relationships. So that's been the target market of Selling with Social. We've got a huge fan base and it's been great. It's been a lot of fun to be able to launch the Selling with Social.
Yeah, as a listener to your podcast, Mario, what I would add is that it's really about strategy. It's about sales strategy, and the people that you have on your show really deliver a lot of high-quality content around different aspects of sales strategy. So, yeah. Phil, in your case, your podcast is called, and I love this name, Conversations with Phil, because that's what people do on your podcast. They have conversations with you, and you're more focused on the sales individual, whereas Mario in Selling with Social, he's kind of focused on the sales leader, enabler. You're with the individual. So what's that about?
Yeah. So, a lot of sales, is about the mindset. How do you think about sales? And some of that sales culture, can be the culture of an organization, how to create one that really matters. It can be, some of the sales thought leaders that I've interviewed. They're talking about, how salespeople can get known, be more out there, be seen as the trusted advisor. So any of those kind of thought leadership type things, mindset, and then the practical and tactical. How do you actually do it, right? Talking to sales professionals in the trenches that are picking up the phone, that are meeting with people face to face, that are actually doing what they need to do. Now, some of these people, they don't even think they're in sales. Some of these people don't even realize, but really, that's what they're doing. They're selling. So that's really the focus of my show, is having that conversation, understanding where they came from, because nobody comes from the same place. I don't know. Mario, do you have a master's in sales from some university? Is that how you got yours?
I have my self-proclaimed master's in sales.
There you go, right? So,
PhD,
and that's
Dr.
the case.
Mario.
Yeah, Dr. Mario, right? So a lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't, right? Because there is no real master's in sales. So really, it's about coming from wherever you are, being wherever you are right now, and then moving to where you want to be. That's what Conversation with Phil is all about.
Okay, great. And for the chance that somebody's tuning in for the very first time, this is the Social Business Engine podcast. This is episode 173, and I primarily focus on marketing technology, and I showcase people at brands that are practitioners that are actually doing social, digital strategy, and they're really moving the needle by doing great content marketing and doing great employee advocacy. And I've interviewed people doing, social selling as well, but really showing the results, their strategies. I also interview independent thought leaders like analysts and authors and people that are on the speaking circuit, that are out there as thought leaders within the field. And then they bring, their thought leadership to the podcast as well. And my hope is that my listener walks away with, takeaways and things that they can do within your organization around social and digital strategy. Now, guys, as we look at, who we are, Vengreso, we're all about digital sales transformation. And we've got three podcasts that are associated with our brand. Let's take a couple of minutes and just talk about why podcasting. What's the relevance and the value of podcasting, even as a medium, and what could that mean to our listener and our viewer today? Mario, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, the selfish reason why I started podcasting was because I hate writing. And it's so much easier for me to actually articulate my thoughts as someone who loves to have conversation than it was to actually put it into writing, because the way I write is the way I speak, or the way I speak is the way I write. That's probably the better way to say it. And so I actually started podcasting because of that reason. But the other reason that I started doing that was because this is an actual medium in an area that is gaining extreme popularity. And it's just at the very, very, very base, right? Like there's not a whole lot of people in this area, and not doing anything in terms of advertising. We've got from, just a few listeners, for a few hundred, to the thousands on our episodes. And all we're doing is creating great content and getting the message out there. And so it actually has served as an opportunity to be able to be in an area that our competitors are not, that other people are not engaged in. And quite frankly, Bernie, let's face it, people are going out and they're commuting, they're working out, they're on walks, they're sitting in their office, and they can listen to content and consume content a lot easier than sitting there and watching a video or reading a whole blog article or an ebook. And so it's just a different avenue to be able to touch your listener.
Yep. Phil, how about what's your experience with podcasting?
Well, for me, twofold. One, again, let's be a little selfish here. I get to talk to people that are smarter than me in one area or another, and I get to learn from them. So being a podcaster really helps me get smarter and improve my game. And then as far as the listener goes, they get that as well. And then it's really intimate. I mean, if you are watching the video, or you can imagine this, just imagine me sitting here with 2 earbuds in, or your listener with 2 earbuds in, listening to this conversation, maybe how you are right now. And that's very intimate. That's a great conversation. And we can influence people by having a podcast because, I change my opinion with every conversation that I have. And by change, I don't necessarily mean drastically, but a little bit. I learned something new. I think of something in a different way. And it's the same with anybody who listens to a podcast. They're like, that's interesting. Or the other way, it really steals my opinion. Yeah, right on, man. That's exactly what I was thinking. So it helps with that. I like to have conversations with smart people. I like to learn from other people. And I really find that it's a great way to share other people as well, because I don't just talk to people that are famous. In fact, mostly I don't. I don't star chase anybody. I talk to people that I think are useful, people that you can learn from, and people that are fun and passionate about what they do. So for me, that's what the conversation is all about, and that's why I podcast.
Yeah. So what I'll add to that is that my primary motivation in the podcast is for relationship building. It's given me an opportunity to, twofold, relationship building and also keeping my finger on the pulse of what businesses are doing in terms of actually, practicing digital and social strategies. So because this is episode 173, once, as you both know, once you get past 20 or 30 episodes, you've got some credibility. So over the last couple of years, I've been able to reach out to practitioners and thought leaders and invite them onto the podcast with a specific idea or topic. And rarely do they say no. I mean, the challenge is the scheduling, but that's a different thing, right? But usually they say yes, and it typically begins a relationship. And then I learned, you both said this, I learned so much from it that it's hugely valuable. A funny thing happened along the way, which, we're beginning to experience this at Vengreso, and I was experiencing this just with my podcast when it was just under the standalone Social Business Engine brand. And that is that, some companies want to come along and sort of sponsor it and become part of the community and get their message out. And, we're doing that selectively in a way that adds value to our listener and our viewer. And I think it's something that, anybody that's listening, that wants to reach our respective audiences certainly might consider. And I think, we're getting close to our wrap point here, and we should really begin to invite people to the one thing that we wanted to invite them to do today. And we're not selling anything. We're offering them something valuable but totally free. And that is a subscription to Selling Power magazine. Even for my listener, if you're a marketer, look, ultimately you're helping your company sell something, or if it's your business, you're trying to sell something. So we're all selling something at some level. So we have a fantastic relationship with Gerhard Schwartner. He was on episode, I forget the actual episode number, about 10 episodes ago. So go check out that episode. We talked about Sales 3.0. And if you want to subscribe to Selling Power magazine, totally complimentary, fantastic content. He's only been around, 36 years now with his publication, which of course at one time it was print only. So talk about a very proven publication on sales practices, sales leadership, Selling Power magazine. And Phil, where can our viewer and listener get their free subscription to sellingpower.com?
Yeah, the easiest way to do that is just go to Vengreso.com. That's Vengreso, Vengreso.com, and then / Selling Power. No spaces, no dashes, no slashes, just Vengreso.com, and then / and then Selling Power. And you can get that right away.
And I just want to point out, certainly you can go to sellingpower.com, but you'll have to pull out your credit card. Come to the Vengreso link that Phil just shared with you, and you're going to get a free subscription because of our arrangement with Selling Power. Mario,
and also Bernie, I was going to say that was episode number 169 on your social business engines for the one with Gerhard Schwartner.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think, Phil, do you have any closing thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, so I've got two things. So one is, if you're a sales practitioner and you're willing to share some of your insights, contact me. If you're a sales leader, contact Mario. If you're a marketing leader, contact Bernie. We'd love to have you on the show if you're willing to share some of your secrets. We're not looking for you to give away confidential information, but we'd love to showcase your story. And then secondly, I want to encourage you, if you like what any of us said, subscribe. Subscribe to Bernie's podcast, subscribe to Mario's podcast, subscribe to my podcast, Social Business Engine, Conversation with Phil, or Selling with Social. Just look for them on your favorite podcast engine and subscribe. Check it out. Give it a 5 or so episode run. See if it's interesting to you. Most of us have huge archives. Bernie's at 173. Mario and I will be catching Bernie soon enough. So check it out.
Fantastic. Mario, anything you want to close with?
Well, Phil stole my thunder. I don't have anything more to say, but no, he said it right. And just, keep in mind that, you can download podcasts onto your device, your iPhone. You can use the Google Android Play store to be able to get the podcast there. It's super easy. And whether it's our podcast or anybody else's podcast, take the time to be able to listen and grow. And this is really, what we advocate, whether you're in marketing or whether you're in sales. It's all about growing the mindset. And if you can develop and grow your mindset and your skill set, then it'll help you leverage the right tool set correctly to advance and grow your sales. And let's face it, both Phil, myself, and Bernie have all been in sales. We are all responsible for client acquisition here at Vengreso. We live, we breathe, we die exactly what it is that you're doing out there in the field. The one major difference, potentially, that may be different between us and you, for those of you that are in the corporate enterprise, is we work 100% off commissions. And I've always had the rule of thumb. If you can sell on 100% commissions and survive, you're a freaking phenomenal salesperson. So we live and breathe and die this, guys. And we're very passionate about helping sales and marketing really develop themselves. And so our podcasting in general, is a nice way to develop the right mindset and to enhance your skill set.
And I'll just close it out by saying that I've been living in that 100% commission model for the last 15 years in my business, and now as part of Vengreso. And it's exciting. And everything that we do here on the Social Business Engine podcast, the Conversations with Phil podcast, and the Selling with Social podcast, is we're passionate about it. We are passionate about sharing great content that is compelling, it's educational, it's informational, even a little entertaining along the way. So on that note, I think we'll call it a wrap right there for episode 173 in the Social Business Engine. I want to thank both Phil Gerbyshak and Mario Martinez Jr., two of my co-founders here at Vengreso, for joining me here today. We'll see you next time on episode 174. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.